Hello, my people. Welcome to the Transform You live show, the only show where you can make real life and business transformation, harnessing the power of optimism, hope, and faith. And of course, in these days and times, you need a lot of it. And today we got a real great guest for you. I got a real good treat for you. I do not want you to walk away. Our guest today, he's going to show you how making more money is, definitely a thing. It is one way you can do it, and we're going to be talking about mutual fund investing. For me, I'm a novice to this, and I know many of you out there may be, you might want to know how to do it on a budget. My hand is raised, so you can raise your virtual hand out there too. It's the book that teaches the person to be responsible, how to make some good monetary actions and break down the mutual fund business. So if you want to get everything you desire in this crazy life while making a boatload of money, our guest right here is going to show you how to do it. So we're going to bring them on in. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about a lot of good stuff. So hold on to your seat. So here's our guest today. He goes by Magnus Carter, the Carter, on by pen, and we don't know what he goes by night. Allow him to do that. What's going on today?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Marcus. Thank you for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure, my friend.
Yes, you are correct. My pen name is Magnus Carter, but my 9 to 5 or outside of publishing name is Jacob Walensky. For those who actually want to look up or anything else I have done or any new books that are going to be coming out.
Yeah, outstanding. So, I know I kind of gave a casual introduction into the book itself, but I know there's a lot of people out there that is quite interested into just how you got off into this topic in general. Is this like a background you come from, or is this a particular interest that you kind of picked up? I know a lot of people pick up a lot of things during COVID, but maybe it's stretches far back for you.
Well, honestly, handling money stretches as far back as childhood. You're always given that money from grandma, grandpa. You spend it right away. You never know what to do with it. You get your first job. It's like, all right, now I have all this money. What do I do with it? You go buy stuff. You go buy your car. You go and enjoy life. But one thing, even in schools, when I've actually gone through schools, I went through college, I went through high school, postgraduate school, and all my certifications and whatnot, they don't teach you how to manage money. They don't tell you the consequences of money. That's one thing that I've realized from being a small child to right now. I'm well versed. I have a very well paying job. I started this company. I'm publishing books now, but no one tells you what to do with the money. So the reason why I wrote this book is the information's out there, but the information's out there that is so complex that nobody can understand it. Or you have to have like 10 years of experience or a business degree to understand the basics of how money works. I break that down in this book. I break down where every choice you make is a choice that is either going to lead you to a brighter future or something that's going to get you through the day. So making the reader or the person that's actually wanting to save the money accountable for what they're spending now is the start, is your starting point for this. That's the first 3 chapters of the book is first, where am I? What am I doing right now? Where do I want to be? The tools in the book will help you make a budget, will actually make you accountable for all the spending you do, especially on the subscriptions that all of us have. Our cell phones, our internet access, our Hulu, our Netflix, the $3-4 items that we spend monthly that constantly add up. We don't take account for it, and we just throw it to the side. So that is one reason why I did this book, and to make the person accountable for it, but also show that there's other things to do with the money like investing in the mutual funds. Mutual funds are a safer way, but not a completely safe way, because you're still taking a chance on investing money in something you don't have in your hand, and you don't know what's going to happen to that could actually increase it or decrease it. But by
Mm-hmm.
doing mutual funds, you're actually taking two, three companies that, you know, a broker or you decide to invest on yourself in. You know, you have that little bit of a cushion. You're not constantly betting
Right.
on, like going to the races. You're not constantly betting on one horse. You're betting on three horses. So if two of the three horses actually win or finish, or however you want to put it, you're making money instead of the one horse that either you win or lose.
I like that concept, man. I think what a lot of people, and you really pointed to it, you alluded to it quite well, is the fact that many people lack the education because if it's out there, it's too complex to understand, and then it's not being taught in schools, and then when we do get a little bit of something, uh, we we don't know where to put it, and if we do put it somewhere, it's like okay, this is just one horse, and oh, it's gone like that. So that horse didn't lose. Oh, forget about it. I don't know what I'm doing anyways. So you really reverse in the whole mindset of people. It you know is this what this book is going to really concentrate a lot on? Just really shifting that mindset, or is there some really concrete steps that they step one, step two, step three, step four,
Oh yes,
or is it a
exact.
combination of both?
It's both, because this is actually breaking the knowledge down that people don't have, or people think they can have. Plus, on top of that, it actually addresses a lot of the fears of investing. People, you hear everything in the news, all the, well, this stock went down 500 points, or this S&P's down 600 points, or the Dow Jones is like up 5,000 points. Nobody knows what that means. All they're seeing are those giant numbers escalating and going up and down. This book will actually, I wrote this book to take the steps necessary. First one, you find out where you're at. You make your budget. You take accountability of all the things you're putting money out into. Credit card payments, student loans, mortgages, car payments. Second thing is, after you've done all of that, you find your net worth. You find how much you are actually worth right now in this minute. The more the person or the reader is actually honest with themselves, the better they're going to be down the road. And that's what a lot of things don't translate, or they're not communicated with, is once you get those two items out, now you have a basis to make a plan. Now you want to see where you want to do. Do you want a family? Do you want to go to college? Do you want that fancy car? Do you want the vacations every year in Tahiti or the Bahamas or Rio, or go to Japan? See, now, because all of those things take money, and the 9 to 5 job isn't going to do it for you. Because we're so stuck with the 9 to 5 mentality. It's like, okay, I look at a 9 to 5 job, and my job included is my allowance. I can do with it as I please. Same with everybody else. Whatever they decide to work, wherever they work, and how much they decide to work and get paid is up to them. This book will actually show you don't need fortunes to invest for a brighter tomorrow. You can
Right.
invest with $20, $30, $100, whatever you feel comfortable with. But the comfort level on this is not to be so tight that you're losing things. You're not enjoying life today. You're not, instead of buying the brand name cereals or the brand name, or going to a very good restaurant, you're not going down that particular with your money, that you can still enjoy those things. But you're also
Yeah, that's
mediating
my language.
yourself that you can get the Ferrari, that you can
Right.
get the McLaren. It, all those things are options that people can make, and it's based on the choices they make today, tomorrow, the next day, even the mistakes we make through this. it's not the end all, because there, even though tomorrow's not given to us or is not certain, what you live for today, and if you're happy today, that's all that really matters. The brighter future for tomorrow, or for your kids' future tomorrow, if you decide to choose, if you're in the family route. See, this book isn't just made for high school kids. This book is made for college students, for the family that's struggling at night, that don't know where the money's coming from. They don't know where their money's going. The people in their 30s that already had the family started, but now they're thinking college. So it goes all the way up to the 50s until your retirement. So money planning and money strategies don't change. The way the person's needs change. If that makes if that makes sense. I know a lot of people are out there scratching their heads, and I know I've stepped on quite a few toes already. I can guarantee that, and there's going to be some comments, which there should be, because if you don't understand where I'm going with the book and where you can actually be, that's where the miscommunication is. That's where the lack of knowledge comes in. That's where we don't know how to ask something if we don't know what we're supposed to be asking for.
Yeah, I really like that, Jacob. Like you're really speaking my language right now. Because I'm a BMW guy, me personally. So,
Okay.
and some people thought I was crazy. A couple years back when I first started buying BMWs, they say, why are you doing it? You throwing your money away? Especially my dad. You're like, you're not even trying to invest with it. I said, yes, I am. You can do this. And you can enjoy life and still, put away for the future. Right. And what you're doing is really in line with just being able to look at the bigger picture of how life's supposed to be. And I think people do really cheapen themselves on the bigger possibilities out there. And one thing is really urging me, and a lot of people may be feeling the same way. Especially since you alluded to the fact that you can start with $20, you can start with $50. It don't matter what it is, just get started. It's that since this fireworks of the crypto thing came on the scene, is that people have skipped over things like mutual funds. So can you just maybe kind of stress the point of how just equally on the playing field is another arsenal like mutual funds to have?
Well, mutual funds, just like everyone, people have 401ks. They invest in mutual funds, but they really don't realize it's mutual funds because they classify them as index funds. Index funds are a little bit different than mutual funds, but they're similar, but they're not the same. A lot of people put this mentality out of range because it's dropped by, just like what you said with crypto. I've had the option to invest in crypto back in 2003 when I was in college. Completely missed the boat on it. Still can get in on it. Lesson learned. But as with mutual funds have been around forever. Stocks have been around since the New York Stock Exchange since way before in the 1900s, which I've actually started researching on. Stock exchanges existed from the 1700s, and all they did was change. There's stock exchanges all over the world. Mutual funds is one way to do it. Like you were saying with the one horse and the three horses, like I have alluded to before. Each part of a portfolio, what you're trying to do is build a portfolio up in case something goes down and something raises it up. It's sort of like gambling in the craps table. You're always playing the odds. You got your odds from 2 to 1, 3 to 1. You got your hards, your hard numbers to roll. But the thing about playing craps is you want to try to cover the money in case you lose something, that you have something that's still going to pay you out. And that's what mutual funds do. It is a gamble. It can be done with brokers. It can be done with yourself. The book also goes over the taxes, the fees, the option to use a brokerage, the options if you want to do it and if you want to take control of it yourself. So With mutual funds and this way of investing with this book, it gives the reader the knowledge and the choices. Nobody's going to tell them what to do. It's up to the reader to find out what they want out of it.
Well, that's very interesting, and that makes me even more curious because I wonder, what does the book, and just to switch gears a little bit, but kind of like staying on that on tail end of what you're saying about brokers. Uh, what should people really look for when they start maybe shopping for a broker? Because
Shop.
there's a lot of scams nowadays too.
There's tons of scales. I have a couple in the book that are listed out there. You can go with like your Charles Schwab's. You can do your TD Ameritrades. You can do the higher end ones that have been around since the 1800s. You can definitely use. But the thing with that is, now you're paying a person to that person needs to get paid. Now you're contracting out you're contracting out your decisions. You're putting your decisions in a person that has knowledge of this. Great, that is very well and very good. But you were paying for that. You're paying with it with fees, their commissions. Every time they talk to you, it's um, even when they talk to you, they may charge you. They might charge you 5 minutes. They might charge you 15 minutes. They might charge you 25 minutes. Even if they don't charge you like an hourly rate, like I just said, you're paying it in their commissions. So if they feel that something is actually a stock or a mutual fund is actually going to do better, they're going to change it with because you give them the power to change it because you want a set of responses and you want to make a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time that you've discussed with them. So they're going to automatically change it for you, and then they're going to charge you. But you won't see the charges until either quarterly or half year or however you have your agreement set up with them. So you definitely have to watch out for trade charges, the commission charges. You need to watch out for taxes because you make so much money in taxes and you decide to take that money out. You're taxed on that. Our beloved government wants their money, and if you don't do it, they're going to come down on you. So
we have seen a lot of case studies like that.
But all that risk and all of those choices rely on the brokerage. So you take that peace of mind. You take more peace of mind for yourself, but you're giving someone else more power to make your choices. So it's a balancing act. It depends on how far you want to be honestly invested in your money, or how much you want someone else to invest the money for you so you can recover it.
A lot of times people do want that money, right away. They want to get some of that money, for emergencies or vacation, or large purchases. They start looking at that, mutual fund portfolio like, oh, that looks pretty juicy. And you mentioned taxes, like, so do they have that ability to tap into that portfolio?
Oh, absolutely. You can take it out whenever you want. You can take out partial. You buy the mutual fund as if you would buy one stock, but instead of one stock performing, you have three stocks performing, so you can actually make more money in a shorter period of time. You can also take more risk with it too because of higher risk mutual funds and stocks that they can put together, or if you decide to put one together, you really need to know what you're doing to put one together for yourself so you can balance everything out. The higher the risk, the higher reward. That still plays fair in the stock market. With mutual funds is no exception.
Absolutely. I like that. In terms of like, just the learning curve. Especially seeing that there's going to be definitely a bigger reward, especially in the long term and the short term. Maybe for some people who they feel like, okay, well, I really don't want to work with a broker. Uh, just would it be as similar as just learning the stock market? If someone wanted just to go it alone
Yeah,
without a broker.
definitely. The knowledge, I have broken the knowledge down in this book to if you want to start doing it on yourself, you can do it on yourself. It's going to, the learning curves is there, is like you were saying. You're going to make fumbles, you're going to make um, some changes, you're going to take a lot of challenges, you're going to, it more is on the individual with it. If you're adventurous to do it, more power to you. Take that power back to yourself. Do what you want with your money. Make more money for you. That's what it is. This tells you the safe ways to do it. It's not completely 100% safe because nothing is. Because we're always taking chances. But with those chances that you're taking and the knowledge that you're gaining with this, the jargon goes away. I removed the jargon out of investing. Like those big ETF funds or non ETF funds or loads or no loads. All that stuff is explained. ETF is an electronic transfer fund. Like
Right.
your paycheck. Your paycheck is an ETF. Your paycheck comes from your employer, electronically transferred into an account that you provide for them. And also out there's non ETF funds where it's the same thing where you actually get a paper check and sometimes people actually still go to the bank to cash your check.
Yeah.
It's rare. It's rare these days, but it still does happen. So
Yeah,
they
it
have them
happened.
gone.
Yeah. I don't know how safe it is, but it still happened. Yeah, it is, man, especially with the increase of some crimes in some areas. So you got to be careful.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of just like, some of the mistakes you can make, out here, and some of the things that, like, you had a lot of mistakes that, like, you learned from, over the years. What's some of the common things that you hear, about investing, that people, tend to like go off and do that's like kind of like a bonehead thing and say, hey, this is what I know that I can guide you away from.
One thing is constantly checking the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
One that is the main one I can think of off the top of my head for that because you're constantly seeing things go up, you're constantly seeing things go down. You're in now once you start doing that, your mindset is like for the here and now. It's like, well, if it goes down this far, I need to sell. But once you do that, you sell it, you take the loss of the money, you put in something else. 5 hours later, it's up 300%. Big mistake. The book and once I decided in the book that you have to have a game plan to do this. Once to alleviate that part of it, this big mistake is you set your alarm clock on your phone.
Okay.
That I give you a sheet as well. I give you a paper sheet so you can track things of your stocks, how well they perform, how well they made money, how much money you made, your margins. You set your phone before you put money into one account. You set your phone how far in advance you want to check this stock. Whether you do it
Mm-hmm.
weekly, you do it monthly, you do it quarterly. Once that alarm goes off, then you look at your stocks. You look at your mutual funds. Then you go and you say, okay, this is the last time I did it. You write down the date that you're looking at it. You write down the stock. You write down your mutual funds. You write down what it started out with, what your last entrance was. You write down what it is today. You write down how many shares you now own. You write down how much you actually are being taxed on. You take account of all. You're responsible for it. Just like you can do it with a brokerage, they can automatically send you an email with it.
Right.
But you set your alarm to it. You make out your game plan. And one of the things with the exit strategies that I do is, okay, I hit so much money here in this mutual fund. What am I going to do with it? That's another question. I have all this money now. One of the mistakes is, do I take it all out? Do I put into another investment firm or a mutual fund? Do I take it out and move it to something completely different like crypto? It's the option of the choice. But once you do that, a lot of people don't take into effect that you have to pay the taxes on it. Now, one thing that I have had a very big issue with was taxes, especially at the end of the year, taking money out. When you think it's going to actually go for the next fiscal year, it actually goes towards the fiscal year you're still in, even though it's the
Right.
fourth quarter. And depending on how companies are ran, some companies tax, it's not a corporation where their taxes go by their fiscal years, where they start their business, and when actually it starts when they become incorporated. That's their fiscal year for taxes.
Hmm.
So that's when they have to file by, and that's when they can actually take money out and invest money. Some people I've known actually try to follow that instead of January 1st, the new year. And they were hit very badly with taxes for the previous year. And they couldn't understand why until the accountant told them what happened. Very costly lesson to learn, but nonetheless, it's a lesson that needed to be learned so the next year came around, they didn't make the same mistake.
Well, this is great wisdom here, and like I'm excited for your book, and I can't wait to like pile into it myself, and get more educated on mutual funds itself, and like how I can add that to my arsenal of some of the stuff I'm already doing myself to kind of plan for my now and future.
Mm-hmm.
So like um, if there was anything else that like you wanted to put out there, or some things you got coming up, or something to a companion to go with the book, whatever, uh, in just over the course of this conversation, uh, and just to kind of put a cherry on top, what would that be, Jacob?
One main thing that I have done, the book was published in September. It's still in December. It's still in its infant stages yet. A lot of people don't know what's out there. I've put the book in front of reviewers. I've tested this book with people that have just got out of high school. I have put it in the hands of some of my friends and colleagues that went to college, some that are in their 40s, some that are in their 50s. They were very enlightened by it. And a couple of my friends are actually investors themselves, and some things they didn't know, or some things, got overlooked, which was, it happens. This day, we are so focused on learning stuff, we forget the basics to learn. We jump to step
Right.
7 instead of starting at step 1. Or we need to go to step 3, but we're on step 12. One of the reviewers, one of the reviews that this book can be found quite a bit on a bunch of different mediums that I'll go in a couple moments. One of the reviewers, I read the reviews first of all because I want to know how this book is affecting people. Because if it's not doing its job, I didn't do a job as a writer and I didn't do the research and it's not getting the results it's supposed to be doing. But on the same aspect of it, one really stood out to me. It was a very short review of it. It was about how a lot of people out there believe money is the goal, and we're always trying to strive to get money. And her insight and pearls of wisdom that I took away from this, and I will constantly take away with this, is that the money is the utility or tool that we use to get what we want out of life. A lot of
I like that.
people use it the other way. I will always take that and use that as money. Money is not going to. Money. The Beatles were right. Money can't buy happiness, and a whole bunch of other people sang about it. And you always hear things about money, and people don't mix because they seen it as money was their final destination. But as I seen people that use money as a tool to get what they want, like you got your BMW, you have your podcasts now, you have interviews, you have the equipment you need to do this stuff so you can go and live and buy the next bigger car, to buy the next car stereo or the next vacation to Tahiti or start your family. Once people realize that aspect, whether they do or not, that's their choice. But I will always start seeing that now as the tool or the vehicle to get where I need to go. And there's so many different avenues and so many different streets out there to get there. Some of them are way overlooked. Some are. One of them is actually reading a book nowadays. Everybody wants to go to YouTube or a TikTok video or a training video. I'm not saying they're bad, not by any means, because I used a lot of those with my 9 to 5 job because we're so tight for time. But once you start taking the time out to read a book and actually find the words and the wisdom that the person actually has put in the book, it makes more sense. With that, I've included as a downloadables that can be updated and downloaded and changed over and over again because life changes. Is your budgeting. You can make a budget. You can do what you're paying out and what you project to pay out and find out where the middle is. So you can find out if you're paying too much on certain aspects and cut money down so you're not constantly going into debt with credit cards or loans or whatever it is that the person's using. Second is find your net worth. Find out how much you value yourself. Once you find the value of yourself, is now you can find out where you want to take yourself. Do you want to invest more time and money into yourself or your family or your family now in the present day? Or do you want to invest more into the future of your children, your grandchildren? So, and then the third thing is the investment tracker. You need to track your progress. People want to know, they want the graphs, they want the pie charts, they want to know if they're actually making money. This is a simple way to find out if you're doing it. And you take accountability for what you're doing. As I said before, this book is on multiple different types of mediums. It's sold on Amazon. It's sold as an audiobook for the person on the go. It has an electronic copy, a paperback copy, and a hardback. So there's multiple mediums for every person out there to whatever they decide to use or whatever they're actually comfortable for.
Hey man, you put that in like a real great perspective, and I think that's the perfect wrap up there. You know, we heard our wrap up song in the background.
Oh. Wow.
So, but like but in the midst of all of that, you gave us great wisdom there. You gave us something to take and apply instantly there, and I appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing your time with us. And again, but those who are watching out there right now, go ahead and go get the book. Magnus Carter is his pen name, but I know him as Jacob, good old Jacob. Yeah, there is the book right there. Bring it over here to this way a little bit.
Oh.
The other way.
Other way. Okay. Wait. Okay.
Right there. Yeah. There. Oh, a little bit more. Just back the other way now. Back
There
the
it
other way a
is.
little bit more. Back the other way. The other way. Come on. A little bit more. Keep coming. Right. Perfect. Yeah. So we do got it on the thumbnail as well, and we do got the link, the direct link in the episode description for those who are watching the playback of this. You'll be able to catch the playback, and you want to make sure you replay this a couple of times so you digest the information as well. And that's going to lead you to a conscious decision. The decision is a no-brainer. Check the book out, share it with someone you know, someone you don't know, as well as the episode, because once they hear the episode, they're gonna say, "Hey, you know what? It is a no-brainer. This is the time. The time right now is to do it. Don't let Christmas get in the way of it. In fact, this may be the reason to do it. You can share it as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So Christmas is around the corner, and the holidays is all about giving. If you want to make it a part of your giving, or just give it to yourself. With that being said, again, we got the links for you. This is the Transform Live show. I'm your host, Marc I. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and rate and review. Let us know what you think of this episode. If it's something more you want, we can bring Jacob back, and we can talk to you more. He may want to to come and talk to you guys again. So let me know. I shoot them a message and say, hey, Jacob, they are screaming for you. You are a Beatle now. So that's all I have for you. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys and sharing our wonderful guests with you. So until next time, many blessings, peace, and lots of love. We are out.